should adjust as well the in-game volume. Of all of that, we are set and ready for a quick cast. It's been some time, I've been away, but I've been back. And because the community has been so very much enthusiastic into giving proper feedback on their games and on everybody else's replay, I'm very much eager and keen to very much document it in some way in a newer format where it'll be more visually. We're trying to use Twitch as a tool just as well for replays, so that actually players can get better without actually just reading an amount of hours. A great amount of hours is good. Definitely, is very helpful in a way where you need to clock in those hours and really get the idea of what the feedback you're getting, and to really change up your play. So first of all, we're going to be showing you there's what is called a build order. And as you can see here in the tab that I have opened, Remosu37 is a really dedicated American player, faction player right now in the scene, and he very much regularly asks for advice, and that's the signs of a good player. Not one would say where you keep on doing the same strategies and get a win, or you keep on doing the same strategies and you get stuck at different points of the game. And Remosu has very much put up detailed posts on GameReplay, which I will be visualizing for you guys as much as possible to really fact-checking number one, I guess, onto his own feedback on his own game, and really opening it up for other players just as out there to better his play. So I will be trying to add a little bit of a value to his replay that he's posted up, which is titled US's Panzer Elite Strategy that finally is working for him. And if it is working for him, definitely we can try it ourselves to put it to the test in whether this would be something that's more viable against Panzer Elite. So has the answer been very much found right now? The answer is to the long long years of struggle against Panzer Elite. Now, we're going to be checking out, you can read out his own posts by going up to the site itself, and I'll definitely be linking up on the Twitch, if I do remember, this Twitch past broadcast, if I do remember, and I'll upload every single Quickcast to my YouTube channel just as well for reference. Now, build orders, yes, build orders is something where very much, you can definitely be deviating it away, but if you have definitely in competitive play and definitely in tournaments, a lot of players depend on build orders. First of all, is to really be confident in something, to be bringing out to the battlefield that they are comfortable in playing with, and that if you have played a lot of hours and you've played a lot of you understand the weaknesses and the benefits of a certain strategy, a build order is definitely a fallback thing to do rather than you just play. You see, you have an idea on what to do and what to get when there is a certain unit that's out in the field. And we shall very much check out the build order. Yes, he has written the build order, which I think plenty of people could read. But the timing is just as well as important, which I will be highlighting right over here. So we're going to bring up the game replay right over here, and we're going to check what is exactly the timing of this build order. Now the build order is has been stated. Now we're going to see the timing. First rifleman out will be in the first minute of the game. Jeep on the second minute of the game. 2 more riflemen at the 4 minutes, which is what we call it, a certain bar counting, but bar counting would definitely be in about 4 and above squads. Will we be seeing bar counting build order not exactly, because we are in 3 riflemen here, and stops to get a flammenwerfer. We have a BAR coming out, and another two. So we have 2 flamers on the field with 3 rifleman squads being active in the field, trying to outcap, trying to stall Panzer Elite. Well, that has been going on for years. Now, go for the first production level of the supply yard, get a supply yard going, get a triage going as well, to very much get those a value out of the squads that you will have still remaining and alive, surviving all the G43 shots. Next, we're going to be going for Paradrop, which is going to be on the 10th minute. Now, 10th minute seems very much good, transitioning into the mid game. So you have first Paradrop on the 10th minute, with RR being queued up on the first Paradrop, and it has been very much highlighted by Remosu that he needs AT options on the field and racking up on the points of the airborne doctrine. You're able to get the AT at the position as well instantly, at the position where you will want it. Of course, with about 100 more plus manpower added on top of the cost for that benefit. Now, with that, dropping down the first 10th minute, and with that, have strafing runs being pumped and the first Sherman. With that, sticky bombs being queued up, and of course, going late game, Remosu has very much planned it up to the late game. Closing up the replay manager now, to the point where late game passing about 50 beyond will be seeing a munition drop, a strafe spam to continue this strafe spam, and it which is from the doctrine tree and not from the mortar pool, and continue on to battle out on the map till the or annihilation victory. It's definitely viable of annihilation victory if the ATs in the field and airborne able to take out a lot of buildings. So that is the general game plan. There's the build order. If you do want to have an answer against Panzer Elite, well, let's take this well written by Remosu37, which is working for him right now in the ladder scene, and this would really very much be something to make a meta. Now, we have a response just as well from Piwowski, a very respectable strategist, able to get rewards. Now, rewards is something well very much can show that you are in the scene for some time, and just as well the number of posts. Now, he has his own comments, and which we'll also go through together and to verify and to really learn a lot. Much more for me is to learn and maybe apply it if I have the time on the ladder. Mostly I'm more into other things, which I'll get back in a bit, but we'll watch the Quickcast right over here. Let's drop to the Quickcast here. Now we'll switch off our browser. Let's see, browser off, and we'll jump into the game. Now, as of all Quickcasts, definitely, let's see here, we have replays, right? Right. With all Quickcasts, we're watching it at 8 speed, and we'll pop open the fog wall.
Complete, as ordered.
Build orders 2 engineers start. With Rifleman, which is very much the standard build for Americans, the most safe build that you want to go for. That has a lot of flexibility, a lot of response.
Jeep is up, point is ours.
Gonna get a push Jeep along with the Rifleman. Now, as you can see here, their job is to stall. Seems like Panzer Elite is not very much focused into going for the party that's been sent to the fuel point. Rather, he's responding by his own cutoff point, which is able to achieve better and a faster timing than the US faction player. I'm gonna check a few things here. that okay, you're going to be looking at 420, just to keep in mind 420 with the first comment from Pivowski. So Panzer Elite is able to decap, he's very much satisfied, and able to push back first HT out in field. Push HT out in field, able to very much get this. And almost a snipe on the Captain Crad of Panzer Elite by General. Now we're going into 4:45. We have actually missed that moment where there is very much a battle that could be done better. Pivalski has noted that you'd have to instead very much want an engagement that's been going on with two Panzer Grenadiers. So he's actually recommending to use the Jeep for a trick, for a disruption trick with the Panzer Elites that's in cover. So guys, definitely yes, there are tricks that you're able to learn in the game where very much you are able to do to gain an advantage. And this is generally in a microscope, not generally in a macroscope, which will not be covering on too much, but in engagements, I believe this 2PG is correct. 2PG is 1, or was it somewhere else in the battlefield? That was able to push Remosu out because they are in good cover, and Jeep was, I guess the Jeep was actually focusing on the Kattenkrat, not able to have it escape, because in Remosu is very much noted that the Kattenkrats are more, seems like a more vital line that the Panzer Elite players are very much dependent on to cap points. That is his belief, that is his doctrine, and that is his play style. All players have different play styles, and we have to respect them, their opinions and their beliefs. And I think I would agree that that's a very valid point. These Kattenkrats are things that are covering the points when they are in engagements. Panzer Grenadiers, when they are engaging with your infantry units. Definitely these guys are in the back lines, capping all the points.
Combat
You can
support
see here
ready
the
to
Chief
roll
is,
out.
I believe, he's very much denying the Kattenkrat here. So everything is going on the field right here. Even though we have 20 minutes, we can really talk about the game in depth and detail. But we'll try to touch on the points where it matters a lot, which is the overall strategy as much as I can. Now we're going to be noting to 540. To 540 is the next point.
Supply lines
That is to pause here and take note of the comments we made. Now we have a deadly fight coming out with the half track, and the Panzer Grenadiers able to cut off a point, going for a strategic cutoff, and able to very much choke the American faction player from all the resources that he currently have. Right now, the squad unit has been 3 rifles with 2 engineers, a single Jeep in the field, while the Panzer Grenadier has, I believe, two PG squads and a single Kattenkrat. No, three PG squads with a HT on the field. Now, Pivalski would mention another comment, detected bars. Definitely, he has his beliefs that in this matchup against Panzer Elite, a lot of other American faction players, who are veterans, by the way, which we should listen clearly, they do not recommend BER. It's a different matchup. It's not against Wehrmacht. It's not the exact effectiveness that you are going to achieve. Which you will know why very much. Your rifleman is not exactly the staple unit again. That is very much in the Wehrmacht matchups. And he has very much noted this. Everyone understands that it's a different matchup, that so you have to respond differently. That's what he's very much recommending. Now, what he would say is go for the stickies instead, or faster SY, which is what is the SY? Is it let's see, bars are usually a back tech against Panzer Elite. Is there a SY? What is an SY? supply yard. Where is the supply yard? Correct. Okay. Bars are usually a back tech versus Panzer Elite, so he's definitely not agreeing with the teching choice that's coming up from Remosu at this point of time, which I believe we can see at 5:40 right here. So now the BRs coming to online. There you go. Next point will be 9 minutes 30 minutes. 9 minutes 30 will be the next time we will be able to pause the game. So we'll move on. We'll see the engagements coming up here. Slow down to 6 times the speed. The BR is definitely being pushed. Even after upgrade, engaging with a 3 PG squad single half threat. He's still defending against this cut off point. But however, there is a great path right over here, this point, where it's able to very much replenish and fill the American faction play resources. We have actually a 2 IHT strategy that is being deployed here by General. It requires intensive, micro-intensive map awareness, actually avoidance of mines, which is not really being deployed here by Remosu. One thing about build orders, once again, you definitely be more sticking towards that build order and try not to very much deviate from it. So IHTs with these build orders that's being recommended by Remosu will be able to have free reign around the map, especially on long range. Look at the stack right over there. Isn't it disgusting? The 2 IHTs able to stack that way, able to dish out damage. Excuse for my state of health right now. Probably is from the excessive involvement with competitive heroes. As you can see, the supply is going up for the 10th minute. You can see the build order that we have gone through in the first early of the stream. Right now, 9:40 minutes is where very much the next comment will come. You build supply yard with 110 fuel. You can very much build it earlier. Alright. I believe that is the engagements and everything going on. If you have a build order, yes, that shouldn't be an issue and a case where that is to happen. But I believe the attention and focus is elsewhere. Well, things happen like that in the game, and I think how very much invested that Remosu is able to put in this game. I think that is just the answer there. But from coming up from a veteran, it is something to very much take it to heart. Not take too hard, I'd say, but take it to the heart and execute that absolutely. And then definitely something the hotkeys, definitely something with attention. You can fix that easily. Can definitely fix that easily. Next one will be until 11:30. Wait, hang on. At 9:30, okay. Pick fights where you can't win and just lose manpower. And yeah, losing manpower, especially at a fight here, trying to regain the cap, but that is actually getting the focus. I would say in a lot of things and outcomes in battles and in you try to do things really perfectly, but if things went perfectly, you will see a very perfect, flawless victory. But however, if games go sideways, not your way, you make the best that you can. And I believe Remosu37 is making the best of his can, especially in the response to the cap point here. General finally realizes that this point is required to take to actually halt from the resource starvation, from the siege that he's trying to make, which was successful initially. But if Remosu wasn't on top of this game and didn't take exactly in this point, I recommend you guys watch it again. He was able to be supplied with resources just because he actually have an answer to the cutoff maneuver from General. Let's go on here. And 10 minutes is going to be commenting. 10 minutes is going to be commenting. The Jeeps dies and you go for the airdrop, and he believed that armor doctrine would be better. Yeah, there will be recommendations coming up in game, and we'll be seeing that paratroopers are being called to the field right now. nearing the time mark, the RRs has an AT option coming out from Remosu37. He believes, you know, a lot of people have very much varying discussions and debates on Rangers, and I would have it just as well. Rangers come with 2 bazookas, double. If both lands, you get an instant kill. So I think that's why the accuracy is not as good, you see. And coming up from just manpower cost without ammunition, definitely something which is requiring an attention of the developers to ensure that there is some sort of balance, and the inaccuracy is balanced. Trust me. I know that everyone really is hard on for something that is, you know, very much quick and snappy and so on, but you wouldn't get these kind of games. You wouldn't have the feel of the game if you wouldn't have to say that Rangers are with this sort of oddity or a trait or a feature where very much their accuracy is low, but you have 2 bazookas. Okay, 2 bazookas.
Airborne here.
Recoil rifles, however, in contrast, is accurate. So there is a difference here. And despite sorry for the ear rapes going on from here time and time again. But you know, there is the feel of the recoil rifles, correct? And because they're more, you know, it comes into game development, they're exactly the same way.
Yes, sir.
And mechanistically, they're designed, they're coded the same way, however, with just slight different variants in their shots and in their accuracy values. You just understand that these are recoil rifles and that is bazookas, alright? So it's just Remosu37's very much response to having an AT option into the field, and I can respect that. And I think 125 munition is a lot, honestly, to get that, and with the timing and all of that. But he feels that as well as the HEG options coming up from the tree, it will give him a better AT option. There is just what is to be noted right here. When you're going for a build order like this, you have to exactly know what is your, at least when you're going for a build order, you know what is going to be the countermeasures towards armor. I think there's just 2 separate things in the field right here. If I could really make it simply put it, infantry and armor, blob and armor is just 2 things that you have to respond, and you have to know exactly what options are there available at what time. And I believe Remosu37 is able to know exactly what is countermeasures when he does face armor at that point in time. And I believe right now it's light armor. He's having a slight issue here with the half tracks and the blob right of here, the cutoff point, which could definitely be proving lethal if not approached correctly as a United States faction player. So we're going to move on to the next point. Is exactly dragging on. I wonder if this is going to be a quick cast mode. I'm doing it in a different format, different styles. Exactly.
Point is being seized.
Because we are having a lot of passion being written on posts on the game replays where I cannot exactly do justice by fly past every single moment. And besides, it is actually pretty quick by me very much speeding up the game, going up to essential points in the game. Now, comments on 11 minutes, supply at prod 1, supply at production level 1. I'll try not to very much skip too much because they are actually new players, very much following through. So supply at production level 1, upgrade. He agrees on that one. He believes that very much in his playstyle, if Bilowski was to play, you will get it earlier. And if you have the supply level production 1, you're able to get more out to the field because the timing of it would be a little bit different. As you can see here, if you focus attention on the manpower rate, it's going to jump. So yeah, 2.6 manpower. Let's see what the supplier. Okay, it's going to be soon. 20 plus 20 manpower, plus 20 manpower, and over time that's going to be paying dividends. have a good engagement against Panzer
Our fuel
Elite at
point
this
is
point
being
of
taken
time.
by the enemy.
Flamers and rifle squad. RR rifles very much in the buildings here, able to get a first good shot out. This could be lethal because if they got them up to your face really quickly, just like that, without any mine very much impeding their movements and so on. You know, a lot of other groups and sections of American faction players would say mines. You know, mines is the exact thing that you need right now. Just put up mines everywhere, and you just could able to get more map presence. But to each their own. Again, my company of heroes, generals, I'm speaking to all of you. That you have your playstyle, that you have your response, that you have a good um, answer to everything, and that's why the game is absolutely at its peak. Even though after 10 years, I'd say it is still able to shine through to most of the other real-time strategy games because there are so many measures out there and answers to the field where you can do really well against a certain build order that is where you're facing at. So that's, isn't it amazing? You have to think about that. You have to think about that for a few moments. Despite things could be going there and there better, I'd say this is how it's certain gameplay style is able to be deployed in the field. And if it's not your taste, well, at least you know as an opposing player how very much you could take that into advantage just as well. So even though we are trying to really brush up onto our American faction play, maybe something to be learned just as well from General here, which is actually bringing a lot of pressure against Remosu37 with his double IHT play. Now we're going to go to the 14 minute where we're going to be pausing the next comment in a minute. You can see that the IHT is just very much sticking on this entry level with all of these PGs. I think it's just trying to cut off resources. There's a lot of fights here going on for this half of the battlefield. And 14 minutes is coming up right here. 14 minutes the comment will go no anti-tank. So if you go for a tank depot, earlier tank depot will be better, right? Like again, veterans will definitely feel that they will play differently in a different play style and so on. So we could very much the build order is going to go towards that direction just as well with a tank depot, and I think the next few comments is all about how very much the battles could be a little bit more different. So in terms of strategy, Pewalski will definitely feel strongly about getting that early supply yard, getting that early tank depot as well, and not really going for the airborne doctrine.
Airborne. Sir.
So we understand that there's definitely a different playstyle coming up from Pewalski if he was to ever face a double IHT response coming up from General, and definitely that is something to try out and test out into the meta and to see if it works for you. All right, guys. So very much the importance of the video is not exactly doing one-to-one with exact build orders, and because there will be certain different types of gameplay where we can touch on and we can discuss on, and it's all about map awareness, about hotkeys, about control groups, about building management as well, build orders, and we can go on and on and on. But what makes you special? What makes you rise up against the next? Not really rise up, but to stand toe in toe with one of the true top veterans in Company of Heroes, is that you have something to contribute. And it is a playstyle that you are gaining traction, gaining results. You are comfortable. You're not raging as much anymore on ladder. So it brings out all the benefits, and I believe that you should compound on the benefits more and more. So Remosu37, this is something I feel that is viable. It's shown us so far in the 14 minutes game. Definitely, it requires more and more games to very much solidify your position as a strategy that even others with a lower micro
Okie
level
dokie,
than
squad.
what you have right now, which is a
Airborne
gift,
action,
I
sir.
would say, a gift
Time for
going
strike
against a
two.
Panzer Elite, able to maintain 50% of your territory at this point of time is a gift, I would say. And let's watch the rest of the game and how this going to be turning out. And just as well in terms of micro, we are not really seeing that micro can be better. You watch more and more replays such as this, your micro will definitely get better. So pick up this replay. But let's finish it. Let's finish it and see how it ends. So the tank depot is being placed down right over here. We have the recoilless rifles. Para is very much answering. PG is very much being conservative and enforcing a defensive line against this cap point. The IST to the back as well. Very much being cautious about the AT option. Both players definitely showing that caution against one another. Panzer Elite. We look at the blob right over here going on from Remosu37, R37. We'll call him for now for short. R37 moving on the RR. IST is not able to suppress, showing a suppression bonus right over here. First IST out, getting taken out by a normal rifle shot. Defensive ball still being maintained by General. The blob has been recovered, going out again to engage on the Panzer Elite player. Farmers very much leading up the charge. Infantry, a big incendiary grenade, a big IG, I'll call it, IG for short. The first Sherman is going to come out from the tank depot. This is just very much showing the pressure. 50% of the battlefield has been capped by both players, and each agreeing to the attrition warfare that is going to be developing from now onwards. Again, the blob is just being an answer. A blob that is very much being effective in the Wehrmacht matchup is able to really show. And then on top of that was right strafe run with a big strafe run killing up 50% of the blob from Panzer Elite. That is definitely one of the nails to the coffin we'll be able to see happen. Heads are coming out over here in response to first Sherman coming out. Sherman itself, as you will understand, they are definitely a monster of a tank. Just alongside the Panzer P4s here, we hear another strafe run here. The blob is able to attack and suppress the majority number of, and the rate suppression especially is able to pin down units, and they're not able to shoot back. But of course the G43 is not able to penetrate the armor of the Shermans. And with that, actually we have a disconnect coming up from the Panzer Elite player. I believe he's more of a blob style player. Nothing wrong with that. If you do bring up blob style gameplay and play style, and when facing against the strafe runs, and he's not able to split up his units as effectively, and he just concedes. This is still considered a victory, despite anything. It's a well-earned victory, I would say, but it didn't turn out till the end of the match. I would say that is how I would play my company of hero games as well. I try to very much carry out a strategy where it's mostly aligned to an annihilation victory rather than a victory point victory. I don't exactly like draining tickets. For me, it's all about really the maneuvers of my units all around the battlefield and able to get an advantage where it overwhelms my opponent. And if I don't have that, I will just move on to the next game. And I believe that is what General is all about. Just as well, it's pretty much similar to my taste in victory, going for the annihilation victory somehow, by forcing reach quits and so on. But he's not able to get that exact that exact sort of fear and strike into most of the lesser American faction players' hearts. And Remosu is able to show that he has a bigger heart. He has the heart of a paratrooper that's able to stick it out to the field. And I would say this is a build order to look into if you have no clue. If you have no, your fighting spirits are very much damped against Panzer Elite. But make no mistake, the points leading up to this point of victory is definitely a lot of other micros that is involved in and around the map just as well. You should take this another look into the gameplay. If you have enjoyed it, please do go to the link provided and give it a whoop after you watch the replay your own to really analyze it yourself. Game Replay Manager as well is a really great tool and application that's been made. And I'm very much okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I have actually great keys that's been made. Ooh, it's not working. Well, we can troubleshoot that any point of time. But I have this 45-degree angle script going on for better sights. I'm not sure. I have and they do bug out strangely at some point. Sorry, not to really bog it down with more eclipsey camera movements. But I hope you enjoy this slight quick cast that is more detailed, more in depth, and more. I hopefully is more entertaining for you guys. So next quick cast, we'll be bringing more of your replays as you have submitted on Game Replay. Till then, stay neutral.